So, screen, that would help, right? So, let's take a look at the events for this week. All right, so just looking at the weekly schedule with regards to Tuesday. So election is tomorrow night. I think the first polls close at 11 for us, well, for UK time, UTC, tomorrow evening. And then following that, the polling goes on and voting goes on all the way through till the last poll closing at 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Obviously, this is the main pivot of the week, and then we have FOMC on Thursday. But to be honest, the market really only ever cares about the main focus point of the week. The election is probably going to steal the limelight for FOMC. Do you know what I mean? Like, people don't really care about FOMC when something else is going on, but when the market is completely dry and no one's got anything to do, then they all focus on whatever is the whatever they want to be the limelight of that week, which this week is the election. If we didn't have the election, then you'd probably see half of CT be talking about FOMC and the way it's going to react around the market. Obviously, we've had a pretty dry summer with regards to Bitcoin PA, so whatever market volatility or event that can act as a crypto event as well, then people love to talk about it. But yeah, we'll see when we get to that crossroads. Obviously, depending how we react on Wednesday is going to decide to, the thoughts going into FOMC. And obviously, if FOMC turns out to be unexpected data, then we have to consider potential further scenarios. But for now, we focus on the election, and we watch the outcome of the election, and which I'll talk about now, and then FOMC we can play by ear on Thursday. So if you read my thoughts on Friday, basically there was kind of two scenarios I was looking forward to get into altcoins, right? The first was that we've continued to hold above 71.5. BTC rallied, taking all-time high. Basically, BTC rallied into the election. With that, would have likely come with an continual increase in Trump odds. I think at the back end of last week's move, the back end of the other week's move, and then last week's move earlier on in the week was highly due to people positioning in favor of Trump winning. And then we've started selling off on BTC and especially on altcoins massively, like altcoins de-risking, on the idea that odds between Harris and Trump are getting a lot thinner, right? Before it was we're starting to see more of a recalibration between odds as people start to realize that it was always going to be like 50-50, but for whatever reason crypto participants were highly favoring Trump. For whatever reason, I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, the election is very rare that it's not like very, very close. But for some reason, I think a lot of people were expecting it to be an absolute Trump landslide, which is not the case. And the reason for basically risking off over the past, or the market has risked off, I should say, over the past week or so. So there was two options I was looking at. The first one was rallying into election with increased odds of Trump winning, and then following that, at any point we were, into the election. Let's say Harris won on this option, right, which was basically what I was aiming for, was a rally into election. Harris won. We sold off, in which case would have been the place I was looking at bidding altcoins, right, into like a prior all-time high retest or into that much higher range high area, right? The 71.5. The second option for me was a sell-off into election towards 67 to 66k, in which I will be looking at scaling into altcoins, which we have been doing so far. Been scaling into some spot bags, along with still having some bids lower on alts, like 15 to 20% under their current market prices, because the fact that I think we're going to see some big volatility into the election. No one knows the outcome, and no one knows how realistically we are going to trade into it and following it. I mean, following it, the higher time frame picture remains up. I'm sure you guys have seen the same posts over and over again of the charts between prior elections and current election, and how Bitcoin reacts following the election years on. I commented out on my market report on Thursday on my write-up, but the first person I saw to comment on this was Gel ages ago, like in summer. He was the first person I ever saw comment on how price reacts after following the election every time, right? We can see that over and over again. It's been the case for a while that we were always going to rally follow the election, no matter the outcome of the election, whether it's a Trump, right, or Harris win. Either way, we're going to rally, right? This has always been the case, and it only took one person on Twitter on whenever it was yesterday, Kobe, for people to realize, oh, this maybe we actually will just rally if Trump doesn't win. People struggle to hold their own biases or outlooks in this market, which is just unfortunate, because they just cheap and follow, and they follow the big guys on CT, and they don't have a clue why they're doing so. But it's always important, like even for people in the group as well, like still have your own outlook, right? You're here to like follow our outlook and what we say and discuss about the market, but we're not right 100% of the time. So it's important for people to also have their own outlook. And it's always been the case that going into election, no matter the initial outcome, we're always going to rally higher. I think people got their mindset on the fact that we would only rally if Trump come into office, which is not the case. And I think people got sucked into the fact that we were just going to rally super hard into election, which could have been the case if Trump's odds continued, right? Because people were betting on that Trump was going to move into office, then we'd rally into it. But we've done option 2 for now, which is now selling off into election, and following the election, we're probably going to rally going through November to new all-time high and much higher. But I'm really overall, I think this is a fantastic opportunity for us now. Like, we're getting some crazy pullbacks on altcoins. Take PopCap for example. We got our spot bids a bit lower, and I've had these bids here for a while now. Originally they were towards this low, but I've chased a bit higher to here, and now I've split the bids 50% here, which is roughly 10% off current market price, and then another 50% towards 0.9, which is like 30%. But I think there's a good chance that, if we drop into the election, that we can wick and take a lot of these lows, especially if we start running these two. I think there's a good chance that maybe we can do something like that. And whatever drop comes on altcoins. I mean, Popcat's already 35, 33, 35% off the highs. And Mew, again, this is another coin I've had bids set lower for a while now, like literally since we broke out here. And already Mew is 33% off the highs. So we're getting some fantastic pullbacks, and this sort of drop that I was actually looking for in October to get filled, and I thought October was going to be that opportunity we were going to get to fill a lot of spot, but that's just been delayed now to November, and we really are being given this opportunity on a plate now as we move into the election. Seeing like a lot of these altcoins, Tau's another one which we're filling spot on, already 40% off the highs, and I think it can go. Let me mute that. Sorry. I think we can go much lower into like this low 300 areas to fill our other 50% as well. So as a whole, we are getting given this pullback on a plate, and I think avoiding the lower time frame noise here is really important, especially this week. Probably avoid a lot of comments on CT apart from news outlets, which will be important this week. But for the most part, stay away from leverage. Focus on building spot bags on this drop, because this is a really nice opportunity we're being given here. A little bit bummed I closed my ETH short last week, because I'm pretty sure this can run a lot of the lows. We were short from Thursday from like mid 2600, and I closed for like 5 or 6% a lot, along with my other alt shorts, which I should have held. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, sometimes. But I would have printed massively on some of these shorts if I'd held them. The likes of Near, Near and Brett, I had shorts and closed. I think for, I don't know how much we closed for. I can't remember now. Anyway, this is all hindsight. It's in the past now. I'm betting on those NFP numbers last Friday will be revised to negative for the first time since 2008. Yeah, there was a big miss in NFP numbers, wasn't there? It was huge, actually, not just big. So yeah, FOMC could be interesting back end of this week, but nobody cares about that until the election's out of the way, and CT will go on to find the next thing they want to become experts in, as per usual. But the bigger picture continues to remain up despite the lower time frame noise this week. Pivot point for us for longs, right? If we want to take some intraday scalps, I'm not looking at swinging too much on leverage at the moment, but I think if 69k is the main pivot for the week, if we can reclaim back above 69k, which is sort of like our Friday close, and as of right now, we're basically like trading under that area. I mean, we retested the gap, which is always nice. Like, we formed like a weekend gap down into Sunday, and now we've closed it into Monday, so it's not too bad. But either way, if we put in a nice deviation here and flip 69k prior to the election, I think we can run this, which like on the 4 hour you can see is a pretty big wick. So I've got my eye on that. For intraday stuff, 69k is the main pivot. If we don't flip 69k, I think there's a good chance that this continues to roll over into 66s. Like I said, it's really there's a lot of uncertainty how we're going to react into the election. Whether we drop into 66 prior to the Tuesday, right? Let's just say prior to Tuesday night, we drop into 66. Then we sell off into the election and then we bounce, or we could even rally, sell off, bounce. It's like there's endless scenarios here, and it's not worth really thinking about the what can happen, and rather than it's more important to focus on your spot bags here and look at the prices that we're getting given on a lot of these altcoins, and a lot of them are going to rally much higher going into November, December, and the start of next year. Like I commented on Thursday, but a lot of these reclaims that happened and fizzled out were pretty bearish at price. And when we got these flips on the higher time frame, I was really questioning whether we would actually get prices this low again. And the market is giving these pullbacks. Like Wild is now 40% off the highs, and you can see we're not unknown to these pullbacks over the past few months, right? Like we've seen some pretty gnarly pullbacks. Obviously, BTCD is just fucking ridiculous. It's not worth timing a top on this. I think Bitcoin is actually a really good bet for spot here, with future targets of mine being that 140 to 170 region. That's at least 100% on your gains probably over the next 3 to 4 months. So spot wise, Bitcoin is a great it's a great play right now, and especially how altcoins are very sensitive and continue to get battered, especially with BTCD rallying. Altcoins are probably gonna continue to suffer on any small pullback BTC gets after it breaks all-time high. Then maybe we can see a drop in BTCD, right? If we see like BTC move into like vertical like accumulation and price discovery, then maybe we can see a drop in BTCD, but it's not worth timing it too much. I also stand with my thoughts that a lot of altcoins are really gonna just not perform that great over the next few months, especially coins from like 2021. Talking about the likes of like SNX and stuff, which is the one that always comes to mind. But I really don't see how these are not like cooked at all, and I really don't see why you want to focus on some of these Dino coins. Really, I can't see SNX putting in like a 2020x from here. I really can't see a lot of these coins visiting the 2021 highs again. I think is a real long shot, and you should really focus on some of the newer listings and the ones that are showing strength rather than trying to catch like losers. For example, Near, again, this is off the 2021 highs. It's still, it's possible like a 4x, but until this really starts to put in some strong PA, it's not worth trying to time too much of a bottom on some of these coins, and focusing on the likes of like Popcat and Mew, which clearly have been strong. Doge as well, which is going to be really interesting to see how this reacts following the election, whether Trump gets voted in or not. God, I feel like I've been talking for ages, but I had a lot to get off my mind. Yeah, that's sort of like everything this week. Lower time frame is going to be noise. Higher time frame is going to remain up for Bitcoin. And I think people need to fall out of this trap that yes, altcoins will go up, but I don't think all of them are going to go up, and I think a lot of them are going to actually struggle. Let's look at. I want to show you this tweet that I replied to earlier, but So there's this tweet, right, that Cointelegraph put out earlier and saying how, Bitcoin is so close to all-time high, yet retail interest remains at market lows. In some ways, I do agree with this. Retail interest always comes in like at the tops of market and really spikes to the top. But I do think, you know, given the scenario of where everybody was in 2020, a lot has changed. I think people weren't impacted so much by COVID. I think we've seen a crazy amount of inflation since then. Your average retailer definitely has less money to be spending on crypto nowadays and more focusing on fucking support and living their life and actually buying food. Like I don't believe that we're gonna see the same retail interest again. Um, Especially since a lot of retail most likely who were interested or got interested in crypto in last cycle bought and is most likely heavily wrecked and probably will never get involved again. Like I truly believe that we'll only actually see maybe 30% of actual retail come back to the market compared to prior history, which isn't a bad thing. Like we've got a lot more institutions and larger flow, which in the bigger picture does drive price more in majors. But that's what I'm saying with like altcoins. I think altcoins are really going to suffer because they're not going to get as much retail drive this time around. I don't think there's as much retail like degeneracy going on this time round. It's really something to think about, and it kind of supports my idea that we are going to see, sure, we are going to see some some retail flow. Like there is always going to be retail flow, but I don't think it's going to be as insane as we've seen before. And if it is, I do think it's going to come into the meme coin and on-chain side of things. We've been seeing how much on-chain is popping off rather than central exchanges. And if they do come to central CXs, then they're going to also be looking at meme coins as well. No retail is coming to buy tech, to be honest. I don't see that being the case. And that's not me saying tech is useless, because there are some good tech choices out there, like the likes of Tau, I think is great. FET, Solana, obviously, and many more. But I think it's this next few months is going to take a lot more brain power in general about focusing on the right things to follow and buy, rather than just throwing it into a bunch of altcoins and waking up and being in profit like we've seen before. I think it's going to take a lot more brain power. It'd still be nice and easy conditions as a whole, but I think we're going to have to really use our brains full capacity to make sure we're trying to squeeze everything out we can out of the market, rather than just having it falling into our laps. Soul looks good. I want to get filled some more on Soul Sport into 156. I think we can get this week into election, definitely. 150, anything like once sub 160 on Soul looks fantastic. If you missed the market report I done on Soul, then you can go back and read that. What's order flow saying? Any hints of a room? We can have a look. You agree retail already wrecked unless stream gets the money prints back out, there'll be no retail. Yeah, sure. Everyone was living at home last cycle. People weren't going to work. They were chilling at home. They weren't spending their money, so they had reason to put it into the likes of crypto. This time around, people are suffering, man. The world is suffering, especially financially. Flow wise, Flow wise, I think we've actually seen some shorts piling in today from perp side, but you know they're fine for now. They're not underwater or anything. Fairly flat. To be honest, you know I can't really say what I expect to happen this week because it really is an anomaly. But one thing is that if we do flip 69, then I think we can trade into this wick. Until then, we roll to 66. It should be as simple as that. You know, filling spot from here is safe, and I think you know we could wick under 66, but we should hold there in general. We should hold there in general. So this Doge, this is looking really good, and it's going to be interesting to see, you know, especially on the weekly. It looks fantastic, really nice deviation. And the 3-day and the daily also looks great. But it has been strong, but like Joe commented on last week, there's a good chance that people were buying into Doge in the idea that Trump wins and Trump and Elon friends, Trump backs Doge, blah blah blah. You know, but I don't think that takes the bigger picture away from Doge, that it can perform really well in this cycle, no matter the election outcome. I just think that maybe if Harris wins, we could get some sell off on Doge, a bit lower to where my bids were originally in the center of this order block at this point of control here. So I'm going to basically add to my Doge spot on signs of a Bitcoin bottom. Equally, I'll be happy to chase higher, which is kind of why I'm splitting my spot bids 50-50. That the fact that I'm splitting my spot bids 50-50 because I think there's, you know, a good chance to fill my first 50%, and then to fill my second 50% is uncertain. But if it does fill, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's not a problem. I'll wait till, you know, we start to see some bullish confirmations on altcoins, and then I will just like look at adding that other 50% once we start rallying higher and start to see some more positive flows back into the market and structure and stuff. So it's an awkward place to short, to be honest. I don't like the idea of shorting down here at all. Equally, I don't like the idea of longing here. I like the idea of longing a reclaim back above here. So until then, it kind of leaves me to have no position at all, which has been the case a lot last week. For the past weeks, trying to focus on extremes like shorting at the top last week was worked out well, and now, you know, we're seeing altcoins down already a decent amount from the highs, like 35%. So it's kind of an awkward place to short, especially going into the election. I just think it's best to focus on the bigger picture here. The fact we will end up rallying higher. So and yeah, that's pretty much all I had to comment on. As per usual, high ETF inflows topped us again. I commented on that on Thursday. The fact that the last 3 times we saw change. I just shared my my screen, which was how do I do this? Oh, it's a pain in the ass doing this from one monitor, I have to admit. But yeah, every time we've basically peaked over 600 mil inflows on ETFs, it has topped us. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, how long have we been on for? 30 minutes. If you guys have any questions, then I am done with rambling and I have nothing left to say for today's stream. As always, these weekly open streams, they're more just updating since Friday where we left off, how the plan for the week, etc. Obviously, election this week, so it's going to add a little bit more of a wall with the way things are going to go. Everyone is levered up on debt, credit, and card delinquencies are through the roof. I did not know that. And yeah, some big things coming to the group this week, which is exciting, or at least it's going to get announced this week, and it's going to be very beneficial to you guys. Your memberships are going to become very valuable, and yeah, I can't say too much without spoiling it. So, but yeah, it's should be pretty exciting, and it should set us up. Should no, I can't say shit. It should set us up nicely for, especially you guys for the next few months. It's going to put you guys in a really good position. Yeah, it's just like Tech said. It's going to make your membership at Utopia very valuable compared to a lot of people. Probably Texas. Thank you for people sticking around this summer as well. Sol doesn't look too bad here. I kind of like this structure, yeah. But just like the structure's not bad when you kind of see something like that, but instead you've got just like clear res here. It's not ideal. I think we just still wait for our fills, like the fills lower 156. Oh man, we're getting close now. We're like finally getting this dip. Like literally been waiting for this opportunity for like 2 months now. 3, probably longer realistically. 3 months, but this buy opportunity. I thought we would get it in October and it just never came. I mean October we just basically chopped the whole month. It was classic Allsop PA, but I can't believe Tex on Rolex. I think 2 people won Rolexes from that also, and one was Tex and one was both big CT guys. Yeah, 69K because it's like a clear SR area, right? But not only that, it's the prior weekly value area low. also you've got like the developing monthly VWAP there, and then you've also got, I mean, a bit hot. You also got the 2024 Q2 value error high, which let's see, it's already acted as some difficulty for price. So yeah, 66K looks nice, I think. Trump is drawing Gunnish our bags. All right. If you guys got no questions, we can call that there. It's pretty nice. 40 minutes. Okay, got my thoughts out. And I'll upload the recording. Might have another scan of the market this week, but yeah, just try and for now don't focus on like really bad performers. Don't like just because yes, if a chart looks half good, then it's worth keeping an eye on. But I think you want to be focusing on the ones that perform pretty well back in September going to October, and or haven't done this right. So haven't like completely retraced their move yet. Like Tau, we can see it done really well, but you know it hasn't completely like retraced the move back to here just yet. Yeah. And like the likes of Popcat as well, like, rallied really nicely and still is holding itself pretty well. And Mew as well, yeah. Soul obviously is super strong, and I think this is one of the main, or should be one of the main spot buys for you over the course of the next few months. Like look at this BTC chart. Like this is once BTC drop tops out, this is gagging for a breakout. Just 2021 all over again. So would it be out of the question if Bitcoin breaks into all-time high and bounces in price discovery and alts continue to peak? Because I know that's what happened. Yeah, there's a chance if dominance continues to rally for sure. But you know, I don't think all altcoins would. Like I just discussed, I think you're going to see the same strong performers probably run with BTC, but a lot of the weaker ones are probably just going to bleed. Really, and it's not worth chasing those. That's why I like my main spot bags: Sol, Popcat, Doge, Tau, Mew. Big time. I've also got a bag of big time that I'm just gonna hold. I think this looks great on the weekly. Monthly's getting there, but I think there's a good chance this runs well with BTC as well. So I think there's a good chance that this can move up. Probably target at least here, and if it flips here, then it can rally super hard. And then I've got some on-chain bags, but yeah, focusing on main portfolio for now. Joe's got a pretty good post of what happened to altcoins and BTCD back in 2020, 2021 when BTC broke all-time high. I think the next time BTC goes to have a crack at all-time high, it will just run, to be honest. So I was looking at the dollar earlier as well. Like if this pops into 105, this is even more of a risk on signal for crypto now into this region. 104 rejecting for now. Yeah, Doge super strong. I think maybe we can sell off following election. I mean, if Trump wins, then this is probably going to pump super hard, and maybe we can look at chasing. But if he doesn't, I think we can get a nice sell off on this, in towards our bids, maybe a bit lower, and then we can buy. All right, I'll call that there. Don't think I'm live tomorrow, but I'll be about for the election and stuff. Good week ahead. We've been waiting for this for a while now, so time to concentrate. Some really nice price action coming, and also, like I said, some big news coming for the group. Hopefully, you guys will be excited about.